Today we're going to teach you about a measure in statistics called the mean. It's not mean like angry or mad. It's a whole different kind of mean. The mean of the data is the sum of the data divided by the number of pieces of data. So you can see that there are two math words in this definition, sum and divided by. So that should be a clue to you that you're going to need to do addition and division in order to find the mean. Always, always remember to do both, okay? Many people are really great at finding the sum of a bunch of data, and then they forget to divide and say that that is the mean, and that would be completely incorrect. So always remember there are two things you need to do. Let's take a look at some data that we have here. This looks like some text messaging data. We can see that this person, whoever it is, texted 9 texts on Friday, 7 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday, 2 on Monday, 0 on Tuesday, 1 on Wednesday, and 5 on Thursday. We can represent this either in the form of a math problem or in the form of a picture or line graph. Okay, so, or dot plot. Let's take a look at a couple different ways to represent this. One way that you can represent the mean is with a picture. And so I have placed all the text messages in this diagram. There's 9, 7, 4, 2, 0, 1, and 5. One way that you could kind of try to figure out what the mean is without doing any math is sort of spread out all your data. Like imagine if you had all these cubes laying out. You would want to try to even them out and find out even groups. So what we can do is start with the ones that are kind of big and start moving them around. So like we could move this down here and then I'll cross it out. We could move this one also down here and get 3, cross it out. Looks like we're going to need to keep moving things around. Let's see, we should probably move this one up here and get 3. We still have some more things to move around, so let's move this one down here. And we have 4 here. Let's move this one down here. We have 4 here. Don't forget we have this day here that has nothing, so we better start moving some things in there. So let's see, we can move this one here. That would be 1. Move this one. Gotta mark these off if I moved them. And then we have this one still. And this one here. It's kind of messy, I know. But it shows you that by spreading things out, we've made them all have an even number, and they all have 4. So it looks like the mean might be 4. Let's add it all up and do the calculation and see if we are correct. 9 plus 7 plus 4 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 5. You are certainly allowed to use your calculator. In fact, we encourage it. Use your calculator and add this up. The sum would be 28. Now, obviously, that's not the mean. Remember, we have to divide. So we do 28 divided by however many pieces of data there are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 28 divided by 7 is 4. So the mean of the text messages is 4, which we also found by doing my little spread out technique. Obviously, I think the calculation method is a little easier, but we wanted you to be able to see visually what that looks like. Okay, go ahead and go to your next page and we're going to do some more examples. You can also find the mean by using looking at data on a dot plot, and you can also calculate your mean. On a dot plot, you can see that we have 2 pieces of data that are 45 degrees for the high temperature. 47 is 1, 49, 50, and 52. Let's add those up and see what we get for our sum and then our mean. In order to calculate the mean, we want the sum of all the data. So let's put that in here. We have a 45. We have two 45s, right, because there's two dots. A 47, a 49, a 50, and a 52. And then we have to divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Divide by 6. We will end up with 288 over 6. And if we divide that, we get 48 is our mean. One thing I want you to start to notice is that your mean should always be somewhere within the data set. It can never be smaller than the smallest number or bigger than the biggest number, because that would not make sense. We're looking for kind of an average, so it has to make sense. Oops. I did not mean to do that. Let's go ahead and add a new page and do another couple of examples. Okay, we're going to make another dot plot. This time we're going to be talking about a baseball team and the number of runs that they score. Okay, so let's draw a dot plot here. These are number of runs, okay? So I'm going to start my dot plot at 0. And go up to 10, okay? I have one batter who scored 1 run. I have one batter who scored 3 runs. And I have one, or 2 actually, that scored 4 runs, okay? Let's find the mean number of runs that a baseball team had. This is a 4-game series. So in game 1, they scored 1 run. In game 2, they scored 3 runs. In game 3 and in game 4, they each scored 4 runs. What is the average number of runs they scored per game? So we're going to, again, put the sum. We have 1 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4. Don't forget to add 4 twice because there are 2 dots in the dot plot. And then we're going to divide by 4. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 4 is 8, plus 4 is 12, divided by 4 equals 3. So they scored 3 runs per game on average. Okay, go ahead and add another page. Okay, now I have a problem for you to solve. Okay, you will also be answering this question in your note check afterwards. So please look at this dot plot. This shows the number of books read by a student during a month-long reading challenge. Okay, find the mean number of books that she read. Okay, she read 1, and then they read 3 here. This is during each week. So in week 1, she read 1. In week 3, she read 3. And in week 4, she read 2. Please find the mean number of books read. This will be asked in your note check. So this is a note check question. This will help us determine if you understand what's happening. Okay, now I'm going to teach you how to use the mean to solve a little bit more complicated problem. Here's our problem. The number of minutes that Mary Ann spent talking on her cell phone each month for the past 5 months were 494 minutes, 502, 486, 690, and 478. Suppose the mean for her 6-month total was 532. How many minutes did she talk on her cell phone during the 6th month? Well, let's figure that out, okay? If the mean is 532, then 532 times 6 would be the total number of minutes. So 532 times 6, because there's 6 months in the year, or in this word problem, that equals 3,192. So we know that is how much total minutes she had for 6 months. In order to figure out the missing piece that's right over here, we would take this total and subtract months 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we would add those up. And then we would subtract. So if I do that on my calculator, I'm going to get 3,192 minus 494 minus 502 minus 486 minus 690 minus 478 gives me 542. So the missing piece to this puzzle is 542. If we want to make sure that we're correct, we can simply add all these numbers together and divide by 6, and it should equal our magic mean right here. So I'm just going to do that. So 542 plus 478 plus 690 plus 486 plus 502 plus 494 equals 3,192. Of course, that's the sum we have up here. That divided by 6 is equal to 532. So that's how you can use the mean to solve a little bit more complicated problem. Okay, this is practice problem number 1. I would like you to find the average number of beads that were sold. You can see, and I'm going to give you a little bit of help, but you're going to show your teacher your answer at the end of your notes. Okay? There were 5 beads sold on day 1. There were 7 beads sold 3 times and 8 beads sold twice. Please find the mean. Show your work right here. Okay, when you're finished, go on to the next page. Okay, this table shows the greatest depths of 4 of the 5 oceans in the world. If the average greatest depth is 8.094 kilometers, okay, that's the average or the mean, what is the greatest depth of the Southern Ocean? You can see that's what's missing. Here's where you're going to need to do like we did with the cell phone minutes, okay? You know that the average is 8.094. You know that there are 5 oceans. So if we do 8.094 times 5, that gives us our total depth. Okay, so let's do that. 8.094 times 5 equals 40.47. That's the total depth. Okay, I'm just going to write that here to help you. Total depth. Now you're going to want to take that total and subtract out the depths that you already know, Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Arctic, and that will give you your missing piece here, which is the Southern. When you have finished, please write your answer right here. Okay, and show that to your teacher as well. Okay, go on to your last. Before I have you rate your progress on these notes, there's one thing I almost forgot to tell you, and that is an important word called outlier. When you're doing statistics, you will sometimes be asked, what is an outlier? What is the outlier? Outliers are any piece of data in a set of data that are either much bigger or much smaller than most of the other data. Let's say that these statistics that I'm showing you here are like the first 6 days of summer break and the temperatures. Day 1, it was 80 degrees. Day 2 was 81. Day 3 was 82. Day 4 was 65. And day 5 was 85. And then day 6 was 100 degrees. What do you think the outliers in this set of data are? Well, if I had to choose, I would say 65 is an outlier because it's much cooler than most of the other days. And then day 6 is pretty much an outlier too because that's much hotter than the other days. Okay, so that's what an outlier is. And now I'd like you to go on to the last page and rate how you feel about mean. Bye for now. I would like you to rate yourself. How do you feel about finding the mean? Is it really bad, like so bad that you think it deserves a red mad face? Or are you doing okay but could use a little bit more help? Then maybe you want to check here. Or you know what, this is so easy, I got this. Then you check here. Please show this as well to your teacher so she knows exactly how much help you're going to need before moving forward. Great job on these notes. Bye for now.